typically it's our cities, our more progressive urban centers, beginning to pass all sorts of things they historically have never touched before. Whether it's the Green New Deal in Dallas trying to ban gas-powered lawnmowers or fracking bans out of Denton, or labor union bills out of Harris County and the city of Houston. Things that we've just never seen cities embark on that we regulate up here. I mean, essentially, I think it's progressive activists who cannot get their agenda through at the State House. They now go down to our city councils and get them to pass rules and ordinances which are hurting business, hurting our economy, and just inconsistent with the principles of Texas.
I come to you with a heavy heart this morning. In the last 8 days in our county, we've lost 9 residents to this heat.
That was the Webb County, Texas medical examiner on Monday at the U.S.-Mexico border. Since then, 2 more people died in Webb County from the current heat wave. Last Monday, more than 500 miles away on the other side of Texas, a 35-year-old power line mechanic died after stopping work because of heat exhaustion. The next day, another 200 miles away in Dallas, a U.S. Postal Service worker died on the job. These deaths are not outliers. They are the new normal.
Starting next week, a new bill nicknamed the Texas Death Star will go into effect in the state, and it's a bill that laughs in the face of the Republican claim that they are the party of small government.
So it's real simple, right? It says if Texas already regulates a particular industry or code, we're going to be the sole people who actually regulate it in the state of Texas.
The bill is currently being challenged by some of the cities and counties it's supposed to impact. And depending on the success of those challenges, other red states might be introducing similar bills, with those cities and counties facing similar legal and constitutional battles. The bill is actually called, get ready for it, an act relating to state preemption of and the effect of certain state or federal law on certain municipal and county regulation. According to Texas State Representative John Bryant, quote, basically, it's the greatest transfer of power away from the public and into the hands of a few people in Austin that we've ever seen. This handful of people that want to control our state do not want cities acting in their own interests. They do not want any city making policies that get in the way of their ideological and financial objectives. In other words, this one bill allows the state to limit how much autonomy cities and counties have over their own laws and regulations, to the point that it could even eliminate some of those laws and regulations. It would hinder city and counties from passing local laws and regulations in 8 areas: agriculture, business and commerce, finance, insurance, labor, natural resource law, occupational law, and property law. Small government indeed. However, the actual scope of the bill and the extent of its potential impact is unclear because the language of the bill is unclear, seemingly intentionally so. The architects of the bill know that it will be, and in fact is being challenged by cities and counties that will be most severely impacted, specifically Houston/Harris County, which is where I live, and it seems that they want that to happen. The guy who drafted the bill, State Representative Dustin Burrows, actually built challenges to the bill into the bill. Essentially, it's designed to make it financially risky for cities and counties to pursue litigation, whether that's in regards to a specific regulation within the bill or just clarifying the details of the bill overall. And a lot of details need to be clarified. The language is so overly simplistic that cities and counties are now unsure of how to proceed with their own local governance. They're unsure of how to play the game because they don't really understand the rules, and the state seems to like it that way. If the cities and counties attempt to even step onto the field, they do so at an incredible cost, whether or not they're successful. So Houston is suing the state, and San Antonio has joined the lawsuit. And I feel like I say this all the time, but somehow I don't say it enough. Texas is not as blue as our state government would have you believe. The cities are blue: Houston, San Antonio, Austin, El Paso, Dallas. Those are all blue, and the state cannot stand it. Burrows, the rep who drafted the bill, he even said on a recording, quote, "We hate cities and counties." As a result, the state interferes in our elections, in our resource management and ecological protections, and our public school systems, and more, and they're constantly creating more problems for local leaders. For example, I don't know if you're all familiar with what's going on with Houston ISD right now. I think I might have talked about it in a previous video, but HISD is going through some changes, like it's losing its school libraries and librarians. It's now requiring classroom doors to remain open at all times so that administrators can better monitor what goes on in classrooms, despite classroom doors previously being required to remain closed and locked at all times for safety reasons, etc. And All these changes are being implemented by someone who was appointed to HISD by the state. Earlier this month, he got approval from the state for HISD to hire non-certified teachers for the new school year. And the District Board of Managers, by the way, was also appointed by the state. Also, as was mentioned in the lawsuit that Houston filed against the state, the Death Star bill would impact Houston's hurricane response, an issue unique to Houston compared to all of those aforementioned major cities. With the new bill, Houston would have to petition the courts to determine what sorts of emergency regulations it's allowed to implement and enforce. Now, we are already in the middle of hurricane season, by the way, and the second half tends to be a bit more formidable than the first. There is simply no time for any of this. And what, pray tell, do people in Austin know about hurricanes? Now, as I mentioned earlier in the story, this is a Texas issue, but just for now, we've already seen a similar bill pass in Michigan in 2015, though it was much smaller and less far-reaching than this one. But we all know that once Texas does something and gets away with it, other red states attempt to replicate its success. And Texas is the perfect breeding ground for such bills because we have a deeply conservative state government, a state government that makes it harder and harder every year to vote them out. And I have been saying this for years, but nobody listens to me. Maybe this will finally convince some people that more Texans than you probably realize are completely over the state government, and we are doing our best down here. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to follow me on all the socials. Also, please check out my new podcast, Modern Context. The first episode is out right now. Give it a listen. Thanks so much.